We're almost ready to begin our test of the HexCommandNOVA game. This is not new. I mean, we've done these tests many times, and this is just another one. That's all it is. The game system is definitely well worth the effort. The concepts are definitely well established and developed, and they are in their beyond birthing stage. They are now into their upright and walking stage. The inventory that you see on the table right now, almost to the bottom right hand corner, that's a bunch of infantry that we initially printed. They're very blocky, almost like little Lego men. And remember, we're talking about 10 millimeter here. I'm not a big fan of them, but because they're so solid, they're actually worth maybe continuing to look at. I don't know. I prefer the men that are, or the figures that are a little more realistic. And when we get them painted up, hopefully we will be able to show the pictures good enough. These are very small. They're smaller than 12 millimeters, smaller than 15. They're approximately 10 millimeter tall. And I may have fudged that a little bit because these are all 3D printed miniatures. The filament printer that I'm using has a certain limitation, as all of them do, when it comes to something this small, to the infantry that's that small. So there's a give and take. What are these? Why are we doing them? Because they're just simply placeholders until we find or buy miniatures that are actually cast that look like, science fiction, appropriate science fiction. Right now, it looks as if, unless this works out, the only 10 millimeter that is apparently on the market right now is Pendraken, but I don't think, I'm not entirely sure that's true, but it's all I think I'm able to find right now. And of course, so Pendraken has got the 10 millimeter, and we're hoping that there's going to be something else that we can find that will suffice for 10 millimeter. We may even just go with modern infantry in 10 millimeter, if even that is possible. The reason is that it's very difficult to find the variety in the weapons, and even if that's a consideration, I don't know, because really they're so small. They're only just representative of the troops anyway. You're really not playing the game for the infantry. You're playing it for the vehicles, and you're playing it for the scenery and everything. I mean, let's face it, that's what it is, because it's so small. If it was any smaller, it would just be, well, the fact is that these are representative. They're placeholders, if you will, as we say in the publishing business. So they're just placeholders until, for position only, until something else comes up. I'm attempting to print them right now. There's one or two guys I've attempted to print at very fine resolution, and even that is taking a while, and obviously it's not sustainable. Unless I print from now until, who knows, a couple days, because the printer just is taking a long time to print these small things at a very fine resolution. I believe right now I'm at 0.16 millimeter. At any rate, back to where we are. Those troops will be, all this inventory is going to be removed from the table, and we'll start organizing them into attack and defense forces. You'll see at the very top right hand corner we have an aircraft. So we are going to introduce an aerospace fighter into this, and in the bottom left you might see, is the other craft there? Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's over on the left at the T-junction. You can see the shadow, as a matter of fact. So he's over there. That is a G.I. Joe Firebat, I think they called it. So that's a G.I. Joe fighter. And by its design, we're going to give it a less quality than the other one, which looks more tornado-like. As a matter of fact, we should probably swap them. The attacker is more likely going to have either mercenary hired or purchased. You would think the attacker would have a better attack aircraft, and the defender would have antiquated maybe. So we'll flip them around. We'll give the fire bat to the defenders of the fort, and the tornado type aircraft will give it to the attacker. Now in Hex Command Mechanized, when we do strafing and when we do bombing runs and so on with a World War II aircraft, I should say, when we were developing Raptors, which is the jet fighter aircraft for Hex Command, we actually kind of shelved it, and we moved on to Hex Command Starships because we determined the priority would be starfighter aircraft or space fighter aircraft, because that's what we were looking to do. We were looking to create a simulation that would be more appropriate and engineering-wise, geospatially-wise, if you want to call it that, a little bit more advanced theoreticals than actual implementations that we've seen. In other words, we didn't want another game system that was like Silent Death. Although Silent Death has a lot going for it, we wanted something a little more, like what we're doing. So that's why we moved into that and got away from Raptors, which is the jet aircraft, conventional 21st and 20th century fighting. But as I was saying, in Hex Command Mechanized, we do have the fundamentals down for a bombing run and fighter aircraft engaging over the battlefield, and this is what we'd like to see. So that's what we're doing on right now. We got 2 ships out there. That's good enough to test with. And as far as anti-aircraft goes, that's a good question. So I don't know about the anti-aircraft. We'll have to see about that. Perhaps I don't think those gun turrets that are there, those Hoth gun turrets, can be anti-aircraft. Anyway, so there we are, and we'll come back and we'll get this finalized and get it on its way.